Last time on Tim Plays a Game.
I don't believe it!
But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? So now I gotta punish you again. This time... This time I won't leave anything to chance.
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Yeah.
Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did. Also, that's a yes. If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Dang. Do Mukuro's trial over again. Nice. Retrial. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown.
One final battle between hope and despair.
Hey.
If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school,
you guys,
then you win. But if you can't do all of that... Oh... What'd you sign us up for, girl? I'm sure I told you this already, but... This killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Host Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. And we're back, guys. Alright, we're getting into Chapter 6, I think. Yeah, so Chapter 6, here we go. Okay, so at this point, I think, yeah, we just got through talking to Monokuma. Let's talk to Kyoko now. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
However...
Especially not dying. Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the Mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they? Maybe they do. I mean, they are broadcasting this, so there's got to be if you can appeal to their showmanship, you might have a chance at trying swaying them a little bit to do what you want them to do.
So...
Oh, okay, well, in that case, they had no choice but to accept. Huh?
Because...
It's all because of that moment that the Mastermind let their guard down, like I said. So when was it the Mastermind let their guard down? I think it was back when when she questioned them about the trial.
So...
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the Mastermind said? They said that they hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world. Right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
Listen.
How do you know about that if you weren't there? And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, the kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However...
to put it mildly, yes. And yet somehow the Mastermind was able to do it.
In other words...
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
So...
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost. Us killing each other. Okay. They wanted to show the world?
It would seem...
The Mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. Which means they're kind of trying to... I don't know... show the world, like, the world's worst reality show? And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
In other words...
So the Mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other, and show that off to the world. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point. Most likely, prove a point.
Hey.
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
That's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair... Ah, okay. That makes sense. You take the best embrace at something, and you... take the best embrace humans, the most well-developed humans, and you make them go feral. The Mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope. Keep hearing those words get thrown around. Despair and hope. Welcome to the Danganronpa universe. That's their goal, as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right. It is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would just, I guess that makes sense now. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet the same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weaknesses. What?
In other words...
Stop saying what and just listen. Because their goal is to broadcast the killing game to the world, the mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. The mastermind has had to be more particular. Okay. If the mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
At the very least...
That's the best kind of slaughter. At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And okay, so in order to keep the show from getting boring, you devised this plot, and it's working right now for us. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
Indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Oh God. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished, but in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, then made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. Thanks, and due to you failing, you're a failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. God. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire world, Mastermind had to accept your suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they have to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words...
It would only do the Mastermind harm to have shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the Mastermind to accept your challenge.
However...
Well, it's only thanks to you, again, me. Thanks to you failing. Because you believed in me. Another path... well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me. I cannot read tonight. Another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the Mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
Wrong.
Yeah, I'm used to that. In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet. But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least. I won that bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. And yet she hit it all miraculously. She hit it all very well. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seem totally confident from the moment. You kind of have to be if you're a detective. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental... Yeah, exactly. Part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say so? Plus, if I showed my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However...
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. Dang. Can we relax just yet? No. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
Correct.
Okay, maybe don't accuse me. Just saying. Or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the Mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey.
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. Yeah, we're getting into the final chapter here. True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the Mastermind. Work together with everyone.
However...
Is that really possible? Kind of. It's the only possible way to win this. Huh?
Anyway,
right now we have to go find the others.
Shall we go?
They're probably in the dorm somewhere. Shall we go? And suddenly we were greeted with... Oh, this guy. You again? Is he broken? I suppose his emotional instability reached its limit. 61. Jeez, what the heck?
However...
I wonder what that was all about. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Ah. Hey! People who thought I was a murderer. What's up? Is that Makoto?
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto.
Yes. Risen from the dead like a phoenix.
You survived?
Yeah, thanks for voting me to die.
Jeez. You're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
Why couldn't we kill this guy?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
God dang it, hero. Everyone was there, all my friends. All my friends who voted me to die 2 videos ago. Who had struggled together and survived. As soon as I saw their faces, I couldn't help myself. I started to tear up.
What?
Wait, what's that smell? Oh, screw you. I was in a garbage pit. Yeah, man, that seriously stinks. It's Makoto. He smells like a wet dog. Get away. Shoo. Bad dog. And in a flash, my tears dried up. Okay, well... Who do I talk to? Jeez. What do you say? It's like this awkward silence right now. I'll talk to Kyoko.
Makoto.
There's no time to indulge in extended happy reunion. We need to explain to everyone what happened with Monokuma.
Yes.
Explain? Explain what? But is it okay that you're here? What if the mastermind catches you?
It's true.
That's really what I have to tell you all. What you have to tell us all? Last class trial. Last class trial?
In other words...
We're going to redo Mukuro's trial.
Huh?
What? Seriously?
How about that?
What's the point of her doing it? Makoto killed her, right? Dude, stop. No, I didn't do it, like I keep telling you.
Wrong.
Makoto isn't the killer, and of course it's not me or any of you. Then who is it, says the killer.
I see.
What she's saying is, it was all the work of the mastermind.
Huh?
What? You're saying the mastermind killed Mukuro?
That's right.
That's right. It was all an elaborate trap contrived by the mastermind. Makoto spotted the trap in time, and did what he had to stop it.
However...
But his decision meant that he would be the one to die.
What did you say?
You spotted the trap. Did you, Makoto? You make it sound like it was easy. It just, you know...
However...
But executing Makoto, who wasn't the Blackened, is a clear violation of the school regulations. The rules state that only the Blackened is to be executed. The mastermind broke their own rules. Which is why I went and negotiated with them to have the trial one more time.
Huh?
And the mastermind agreed? Does that mean they really did break the rules? They had no choice but to agree. You used the TV broadcast to gain leverage you needed, didn't you?
Correct.
Yeah, very observant of you.
Naturally.
I recall what you said at the end of the last trial. When you said, now it's the mastermind that's ensnared. That's what you were referring to.
Don't be mean!
Hey, I'm totally in the dark here. Maybe stop talking and just listen. For anyone who doesn't understand, you can ask Kyoko to explain it again later. So, knowing all this, what do we do now?
About that.
It's about who killed Mukuro, right? So our job is to expose the mastermind. But there's more to it than that, correct? Yeah. For us to win this time, we have to solve every last mystery surrounding the school.
Huh?
Every last mystery? But we've been looking around all this time and we still don't know anything, right?
Anyway...
You probably guessed already, but if we lose this time, everyone dies.
Oh,
Everyone?
no!
Yes, you too.
I hate you!
Hey, who said you could agree to those terms without talking to the rest of us? The person that you sentenced to death, alright? You killed me, so now it's my turn to decide your fate. I'm fine with things the way they are. I'm fine living here forever with Master. And Byakuya is like, I am not okay with this. Kill me. I'd rather die. I, meanwhile, want to get out of here as soon as humanly possible.
Anyway,
at this point, the only way for us to survive is to unravel the truth.
Interesting.
In other words, only one decisive final battle. Rather interesting development, I'd say. But figuring out who the mastermind is and how they killed Mukuro and all the school's mysteries, it's a pretty tall friggin' order. I mean, we kind of have to at this point. There's not many people left. We're running out of people to kill. Maybe, but this time the trial is different. We know who our enemy is now. So if we work together and search as hard as we can, I'm sure we'll solve all those mysteries. Darn it, come on, Kyoko, work with me. I'm not so sure about that. Huh? I can't agree with the idea of working together with everyone. You can't agree, you can't work together, why not? Working together with everyone seems like the most obvious way to solve all the mysteries.
Indeed.
That's what I thought too, at first. Until Monokuma gave us that little hint of his. Hint? Hee. It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students.
I see.
Monokuma said that, didn't he? Then Kyoko's opinion is perfectly reasonable. It means one of us could be the mastermind. Huh? But why?
So, in other words...
If the mastermind really is the one who killed Mukuro, as Kyoko says, and the mastermind would have had to set foot in this school, right? Monokuma could probably murder Mukuro, and there's no way he could have disguised the scene like that.
In other words...
But according to Monokuma, the only people who have set foot in Hope's Peak are the 16 students who have been taking part in the killing game. Then the mastermind is... one of us. There were 15 of us in the main hall at the very beginning, and in Mukuro you get 16. So the mastermind would have to be one of them.
That's right.
And of those 16 people we started out with, the only ones still alive are the people standing right here. Need I continue, or do you get it now? You're saying the mastermind is one of us? Come on now.
No way!
You can't be serious. Wait, we can't say for sure that's true yet. Monokuma might have just said all that to confuse us.
Indeed.
It's certainly a possibility. Only one among many. Mastermind being one of us is also a possibility. And that is one possibility we can't ignore. Yeah, I mean, they're an ultimate right, the ultimate despair, so they must be a high schooler. You can't say it's not possible. But if one of us was the mastermind, they'd have to be controlling Monokuma somehow, right? But did you ever see anyone acting suspicious anytime Monokuma was active?
Well...
Maybe they snuck off and controlled him in secret. Okay, if we try to think about that, yeah, that's true. Someone had to be controlling Monokuma. But from the very beginning, when there were 15 of us, maybe it was Mukuro who started controlling Monokuma. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe Monokuma's like on autopilot now. Maybe even after Mukuro died, like Monokuma's like able to act autonomously. I don't know, like just on his own. That's the only thing I can think of.
But...
I don't care how sneaky you are. You would have noticed someone sneaking off that many times.
I'm right?
Then maybe Monokuma was on... Yeah, there you go. Oh my god, I'm actually agreeing with Hiro now. Well, I guess my theory's wrong. Maybe they loaded up all the dialogue and actions beforehand. In that case, there's no way he could have had all those back and forth conversations with us. Well, it wouldn't be entirely impossible if they directed the flow of that conversation. Well, maybe, but still. Time to go to sleep.
This is a school announcement.
Oh, this is different.
You've all probably figured this out by now. At this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode.
Yes!
So, in the name of fairness, I will unlock every room in the school.
Good.
Look wherever you want. Solve the mystery in whatever way you see fit. Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
Okay. Better unlock everything. How very magnanimous of a... cannot pronounce that word. How very magnanimous of him to unlock all the rooms.
That's fine.
The time for talk is done. Now we need to begin our investigation. But... I was planning on working alone from the beginning anyway.
In the name of my family.
At this point, I can rely only on myself, on the Tokami blood flowing through my veins. I have no time to worry about the rest of you. Each of you must uphold your responsibility.
Goodbye.
Well then. After making his final statement, Byakuya left the dining hall. Yeah, Master! He didn't take me with him!
Hey.
You can just go with him, I mean... Do you blame him? Without Master, the rest of you are like... coffee with cream... without the cream. Or coffee. So we're just an empty cup. You're totally useless. Cups are useful. So, bye. Can't say I'm sad to see her go. With that, Toko trudged out of the dining hall. And now she's gone. And you're gonna go off by yourself, right, Kyoko?
Indeed.
That's right. Which just leaves Makoto, Hina, and me.
You know?
In that case, I'm gonna go by myself, too.
Just a second.
Wait, how come?
How about that?
Just wait and see. I'm gonna use my totally awesome spirit power to figure out the mastermind's identity. Laughing loudly, Hiro left the dining hall. I mean... Like, I would have preferred they all split up in groups of 2, but... everyone's really going by themselves. How about you, Hina? I guess I'll do the same thing.
But...
I mean, it's not that I don't trust everyone, you know?
I mean...
But up till now, I haven't really been all that useful. I just depended on Sakura and everyone else. You're not useless. If you hadn't been here, I would have died. Actually, you know what? We're not sure how much time we have, so we should probably all split up. And cover as much ground as possible now that everything's unlocked. I would have died. Makoto? Yeah, that's really nice of you to say. But still, I know I've mostly been totally useless.
Okay.
So I figure at least here at the end, maybe I can find something that'll help us all out of here. So I'm gonna go off and do it all on my own. Okay, see you later. All right, well at least we're all kind of on the same page, working together separately. Hina was in surprisingly high spirits as she dashed out of the dining hall, and once again, it's just us two.
Indeed.
Yep. Alright, so let's see. Guess we'll just talk to her again. So you're gonna go off on your own too, right, Kyoko?
However...
Well, don't misunderstand. Just because we're going to do our researches separately doesn't mean we still can't work together.
So...
That goes for all of us. I think I see what you mean. Doing our own investigation doesn't mean we can't work together in the end. I should just see it as us splitting up to cover more ground. Right, working together separately. And then we can get back together and share what we found. Yeah, that's right.
So then...
Well, I better get going. I have an endless list of things I need to check.
Correct.
Monokuma said all the doors in the school have been unlocked, right? So we should be able to investigate every nook and cranny in the school. We can visit all the places we couldn't go before. Makoto, no matter what it takes, we have to uncover the truth. By any means necessary. She's gotta be so ominous about everything. Can you just leave a room with a goodbye, or see you later, or I'll see you at the trial? I don't know, something. Just leave the room, end the conversation without being freaking, what's the word? Malevolent. With that, Kyoko was gone, leaving only me. I don't have time to waste either. I have to begin my search. I still can't believe the mastermind might be one of us. So that's what I have to prove. I'll prove that the mastermind isn't one of us. Well, there you go. I'll expose the mastermind's true identity and solve the mystery of this school. And then we can all escape together. What's left of us? Guess I'll start by taking another look at Mukuro's Monokuma file. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. Well, we know now. That's Mukuro. They were, however, dead before the blast. Did we expose that in the trial? Yeah, I think we did. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. But that wasn't the cause of death. They had also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. That, we said in the trial, was the cause of death. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Once we find out who killed Mukuro Ikasaba, then we'll know who the mastermind is. So where should I start with an investigation to figure out who killed her? Guess I start with like anything that's been locked up until now. Headmaster's room in the biolab, and the door in the data center with Monokuma's face on it. Oh, and the second floor of the dorms where the gate was down before. That should be open now, right? After that, I'll have to double check the areas that were connected to the murder, which means the garden of the dojo. Okay, time to get started. Okay, places to check. Wow, there's a lot of them. I've added the truth bullet section. Alright. The gate's open. We can finally check out the second floor of the dorms, which means I have to do it. Oh my god, wow. This is the second floor of the dorms. Looks like some ancient ruins. Or no, it's more like a battlefield, like a bomb blew up here or something. Yeah, that was definitely bomb. Yeah, something happened here. Oh my god. Go in there now. Let's see what this is. The bed is completely torn apart. I mean, it's not even really a bed anymore, it's just garbage. Ooh, coin. Yeah, something happened here. Opened the door just a crack. Glanced inside and immediately closed again. There wasn't even a hint of a bathroom, just a big pile of rock. God. Okay, well, this was exactly what I expected. Girls' bathroom. Ugh. Really? Fine, let's go in the guys' bathroom. Oh good, the only place that isn't torn up. What's this? Oh, jeez. This room is filled with lockers. It must have been for the Hope's Peak students who came before us. Class before ours must have used these lockers. Why do they have metal plates over the lockers? Metal plate mounted to the lockers. They really wanted to know what's inside. I really want to know what's inside, but there's no way. Why do I need these coins? They're useless now. There's no more free time. Can't imagine any way to get this locker to open. I'm not even gonna bother trying. Maybe this one will open. I mean, it looks. Wonder if I can open this locker. Rattle, rattle. Nope, locked. There's a card reader installed at the door. They must know how to get the locker open. After all, it's pretty similar to the card readers with the locker rooms on the second floor of the school. And you have to use your e-handbook to open those. So does that mean? Well, let's just give it a try. Took out my handbook, ran across the card reader, and then no luck. Maybe only lockers owners can open it, which means none of us can do that. Wonder if I can open this locker. Nope, locked. Card reader. Must know how to open. After all, it's pretty similar to the card readers. Locked on the second floor. All you have to do is use your handbook to open up. That means give it a try. Took out the handbook, and then no luck. Again with the metal plates. Metal plate. No way to open it. Looks like locker's already broken. Locker, rattle, rattle, card reader, handbook. Does that mean? No luck. Let's just try all the lockers, see what happens. I mean, we're going to a lot of dialogue here, so maybe. No luck. Locker, nope. Alright, try the card. And no luck. There's lockers over here, so. Nope. I gotta investigate everything, so... Open this locker, rattle, card reader. No luck. Can't imagine a way to get in. Okay. Well, that turned up nothing. Oh God, what happened here, bro? What's this place? Oh, this is nice. This room doesn't really feel like a student's room. It has more adult atmosphere.
Correct.
Oh, Kyoko. It's the headmaster's private room. Kyoko!
Indeed.
I've been through this room several times already, but I still have one little regret. So I decided to check it out one more time. Huh? A regret. Let's talk to Kyoko about that regret. Kyoko looks almost meek right now. She must be thinking about something. I probably shouldn't bother her. Leather chair. Can't imagine a student using something like this. It must have been the headmaster's. Really? You don't say. I think this computer might have something on it. There's a PC on the desk. It must have belonged to the headmaster. Really?
It would seem...
Whoever used this last, it looks like they were very interested in the ultimate despair. The PC still has some search results left on it. Then we might be able to get some info on the ultimate despair.
However...
There's not much, though. Nothing we don't already know.
In other words...
The ultimate despair isn't one individual, but instead points to some kind of group. That group is responsible for the tragedy which happened over 1 year ago. They're the worst sorts of people whose driving force comes from despair.
However...
And that's all there is. Not much to it, is there? But I guess the best he could do as a complete Kirigiri fail. Wow. But any information about the mastermind is helpful, right? I appreciate whatever info we can get our hands on.
Correct.
And I see. That's a good outlook to have. The ultimate despair has been added to the truth book. Okay, what's this? There's clearly something here. A strange gap in the wall. Some kind of design mistake or a construction defect or something.
So...
There's a gap here, but not just any normal gap. I can feel a breeze coming out of it. It's a very obvious hidden door. A breeze.
Indeed.
There's like an open space on the other side of this wall. Open space. Stop echoing. Does that mean... You mean like a hidden room? I think I might know how to open it. How to open it? Did you figure out some kind of trick or something?
Indeed.
Very easy trick, yes. So easy, I'm not sure you can even call it a trick. I saw a program on that PC that I think controls it. Enter the right password and the door should open up right up.
However...
I thought Monokuma unlocked all the doors, but I don't have a clue what the password might be. All we know is they're probably made up of letters and or numbers. We can't really go for there. You're right, it's not nearly enough to go on.
It's true.
I looked through all his paperwork and all the files on the PC, everything I could think of. I learned more about him than I had any desire to, but nothing that might have been his password. When I think of how much time I wasted on this. Jeez. So there's a hidden door she couldn't get into. That's what she meant by regret. I think we can assume that there must be some kind of clue waiting in there. But maybe for her there's more to it than that. Anyway, if we want to get in there, we need to figure out the password. And if Kyoko can't figure it out, no way do I stand a chance. No way, there might be a chance. Password could be something Kyoko wouldn't have thought of, or something she didn't want to think of. For example, try her name, see if that works.
What?
Huh? Oh, sorry, I was just trying to think of what the password might be. She's like, don't joke about that. I'm sure she hasn't tried it. I mean, it's totally understandable. After the way she talked about her dad, the idea that he would use her name as his password. Knowing how she is, I bet the idea never even occurred to her. Do you mind if I try it, just to be sure?
Well?
It's not like you need my permission. If you want to try it. Do whatever you want. Okay. I'm gonna do whatever I want. You know, I'm glad I thought of trying Kyoko's name. But if that's not it, that might just hurt Kyoko even more.
Hey.
If you're worried about me, Makoto, don't be. I already know that your guess is wrong. Okay. Watch it be right. Come on, be right. In that case, here goes nothing. Talk to myself, turn to face the computer and monitor. Let me just type the password here. K-Y... Oh, full name. I don't think the full name is going to be on there. It's going to be the password. It's probably going to be like 5 letters or something, or just like a regular word. My hands were tense, slightly trembling as I tried typing it in. Whoa. Oh my god, it worked. That did it. Kyoko, it worked. Yeah, I think that just made her mad. Oh my god, you have any... It's like you have 2 emotions. Mad... annoyed and completely PO'd.
Why?
Yeah. Kyoko. Without looking at me, she disappeared into the hidden room. She looked grim. Kyoko. Oh, here we go. Hey, Kyoko. I may as well not even have been in the room. Her gaze was fixed on only one thing. Oh, the box. I thought the picture frame with her in it. Present, wrapped and covered with such joy. That's what made it so unusual. Okay, let's just open it. I'm already regretting this decision. There's a brightly colored box here. It seems totally out of place in here. The more I look at it, the more suspicious I get. Should we open it? Kind of getting a bad vibe from it. But, I mean, we can't not open it. Okay.
Makoto.
Be careful, Makoto. Why? You think it's dangerous? Yeah, it's got a very jokey Smurf vibe to it. No, not dangerous. But surprising, probably. Huh?
It would seem...
It's what I think it is. At the very least, it's not something you'll be happy to see. Wait, so you know what's in there.
Anyway...
Just don't scream or anything, okay? Oh, jeez. Are you saying it's something that'll make me want to scream? Okay, I'm just gonna open it. I'm gonna open it. Step by heavy step, I approached the box, took a deep breath, then took hold of the lid. Slowly, ever so slowly, I lifted it up. Light began to sneak its way into the box. I stole a hesitant glance inside, and... Good! Oh, there it is. Kyoko's advice was no use. I let out a trembling cry. Oh! What's in the box? Is it a skull and bones? You did it! It was bones. Human bones. It was like the last thing I expected to find in such a brightful, joyful box. Wonder who could have done that. It was me! I mean, who could possibly... Where's Monokuma?
I see.
Just as I thought. What? What did you thought? Just as you thought? How could you have known that? I mean, there were bones in there. Human bones.
Wrong.
Well, it's not that I was thinking of the bones specifically. I just had a feeling it would be his body. Pretty much the same thing, a dead guy in a box. My father. Oh. Should I, like, give you a minute alone, or what about him?
Correct.
What you found in the box. That's it. That's what's left of him. Those bones. That body. That's my father. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm friends with your daughter. Or at least what's left of him. Are you serious? This is Kyoko's dad? The same man she's been searching for? Oh, you found him! Hold on. How can you know that for sure? How do you know that's him?
So...
Given all the information we have already, that's the only possible answer. Yeah, the only adult still in the school. Yeah. So that same person may very well be the mastermind who planned all this out. And according to the files, the headmaster is a man in his late 30s. Seems possible, even likely, that he's somehow in this school right now. It's a very polarizing approach, I know. But, okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's the hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. alter ego said the headmaster was probably here in the school. But the only ones who were alive at the start of the killing game were us 16 students. When you put those two ideas together, it doesn't take much to assume.
In other words,
That most likely my father was in this school, but he was also dead. Ah. Ouch. Okay. That's my assumption anyway. As Kyoko explained her analysis, she was completely calm. I mean, this is the headmaster's room. It's got personal belongings from the headmaster. Or I get either that's him in the box, or he was giving a very messed up Christmas gift. A very messed up joke gift. She was completely calm. Or no, she wasn't calm. She was only trying to seem calm. She said it was just as she thought, so she knew it was a possibility. But I had to believe that at some point she wanted to be proven wrong, which is why she never looked in the box herself, even though she had plenty of chances. I know Kyoko said she wanted to see her father so she could cut off all ties. Well, it doesn't get more cut off than that. But was that all there was to it? Again with this shot. Very unfortunate shot. I gave up some of that pride. In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. Would she really give up her pride just for that? I couldn't help but wonder. Bones in a box. Hidden room president has been added to the truth bullets. Okay, we gotta talk about this picture. This thing's driving me crazy. Huh? This picture. Aw, adorable. It's all faded. It must be pretty old. Wait, is this a picture of... Hey, Kyoko. How'd you not notice that? I mean, aside from the dead person in a box, it's like the next most noticeable thing in the room.
why would you?
Well, this is annoying. I came here to cut myself free of the past, and yet... Yeah, he cared about you a little bit. to now find something like this. So what do you expect me to do now? Is she talking to me, or is she talking to the dead dad memory? I don't know. Then I was right. It's a picture of Kyoko when she was a little girl. Yes, do we have to keep going back and forth between her and the picture? Knowing the headmaster had this picture all this time. He must really have cared about her.
Why?
Or he just really liked the back of his head. I don't know. Why? What? I wanted to face him and tell him myself, to cut him out of my life for abandoning me. That's the whole reason I came here. And now he's abandoned me again. And this time he even stole the only opportunity I have to move on. Has there ever been a worse father? I think he might have been a decent dad. He just didn't, stick around. I feel like there's more to this story, and you should not be focusing on this right now. We're all getting ready to die. Focus! We'll put it in the truth bullet section, and we'll come back to it later. Let's talk about this desk. I'm sure there's something that's not related to you over here. The headmaster's desk. It's probably hiding some kind of clue, so I really want to check it out, but I really don't want to touch Kyoko's dad's desk without her permission.
Hey.
Don't worry about me. Feel free to look around as much as you like. Are you sure?
Because...
Never let anything get in the way of an investigation. I don't. Okay, and if you don't mind... I began smashing the desk to pieces with a sledgehammer. Gotta do a very thorough investigation. Starting from top, I opened all the desk drawers and looked inside. I rummaged through each one, finding nothing but limit-related documents. But in the last drawer... In case of emergency, ooh. All this is about as emergency as it gets. It's an e-handbook, right? And it has a label on it that says in case of emergency. I could not have put that one together myself, thank you. I found some kind of emergency handbook in the headmaster's desk.
In other words...
A handbook with no limitations, given to the school's ultimate authority, the headmaster. I'm assuming that's what that is. I think you're probably right. It might prove useful as we continue our investigation. Why don't you hold on to it? But, Kyoko... I don't need it. If you don't want it, go ahead and leave it here. I guess I'll take it. Is it really okay? Is it really okay for me taking so much of your dead dad's stuff?
Hey.
Listen, Makoto. Huh. Can I ask you a favor? More favors? Fine. Favor, what is it? You want me to be a meat shield again? I know it's completely unreasonable to ask you this, and I know it's only inconvenience that you much more, that it'll only inconvenience you that much more, but...
Hey.
Could you leave? Yeah, I should leave you alone for a while.
Correct.
Just for a little while. I just like to be alone for a bit. Alright, go. Don't worry, I'm fine. I just need to calm down a little.
Just a second.
I need to get my emotions in order. You know, Kyoko, you told me before about the relationship you had with your dad. How you're only connected by blood, not by heart and soul. But maybe that picture motivated him. Maybe he hoped to see me again someday. Is that what you were going to say? I'll leave. If so, it's just a theory. And this isn't an issue that can be settled with theories. That picture doesn't change the facts of what happened, what I went through. That problem can't be solved so easily. You're right, I'm sorry.
Anyway...
Once I've got myself under control, I'll return to the investigation immediately. So please, just give me some more time to myself. Okay, I understand. And I'll see you later. I cannot get a goodbye out of you. I will give you $1 million to say the word goodbye. To end a conversation properly. Is she really okay? No. Kyoko must have been completely a shock to her. I mean, it was a shock to me. To find out what happened to the headmaster. You know what? I was actually looking back at the old video. I think that was him that blasted off in the spaceship. In, like, the very, very beginning. There's no doubt the mastermind performed that evil deed. They killed the headmaster who killed Kyoko's father. They killed him. The headmaster is dead. Good. Great job, Sherlock. The one leading the Hope's Peak staff, the one who finalized the plan to isolate you, was the Hope's Peak headmaster. So that same person may very well be the mastermind who planned all this out. And according to their files, the headmaster is a man in his late 30s. It seems possible, even likely, that he's somewhere in the school right now. But we were wrong about that. The headmaster wasn't the mastermind. Which means the mastermind's true identity is... Again, we keep going back to this one scene. Killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. I'm not even doing the voice. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. We get it. The mastermind and the headmaster are not the same person. 15 of us met in the main hall, added Mukuro to the mix, and you get 16. And including me, only 6 of us are still alive. Everyone else is dead. Sakura, Junko, Leon, what's-her-face, those guys, those girls, yeah, they're dead. Sorry, I can't remember names. Even Mukuro. Oh, right, the mask. Yeah, even she, she's undeniably dead. I don't know, we never really saw her alive, though, that's the thing. So that's what's kind of weird about the whole situation. We never saw her alive, and her body was charred up, so... Yeah, it's... I don't know, it just feels like she, like, may not even have existed. So the ones still left alive are... me... Byakuya... Hiro... Toko... Hina... and Kyoko. I mean, if it is one of the 6, I really don't think it's any of them. I mean, Makoto could be. That'd be a whole unreliable narrator type deal. Kyoko seems like the only one smart enough to pull this crap off. Byakuya, I guess, is like a Seto Kaiba type who might be able to Bruce Wayne a way into doing all this. Hina's a swimmer. Hiro's a... What is Hiro? I don't even remember what Hiro is. An idiot. I don't know. And Toko is a schizophrenic serial killer, but she doesn't have, like, the ability to pull this off. I guess it's the only one who has the ability. If it is someone, it might be Byakuya. The only one who has the ability to pull all this off. Or it could be Kyoko. I don't know. I really don't want to suspect any of them. Only those 6 people are still alive. And then there's no question. Wait, no, that can't be. I refuse to believe it. There has to be some other way. There just has to be. I mean, keep investigating until we get somewhere. Since we have the key now, maybe we can go open the lockers. Let's try and open these lockers. See which one's open. Locked. Locker installed. After all, it's pretty similar to the card readers on the second floor of the school. Here's the handbook. So does that mean, well, let's just give it a try. I took out my handbook, ran across, and then nope. Maybe only lockers owners can open it, which means none of us can do it. Wait, but we got the emergency handbook. I found it at the headmaster's room. Okay, let's give it one more try. Took the emergency handbook and ran across the card reader. Beep! Alright, just what I was hoping for. Let's see what we got inside. Oh, the locker's totally disorganized. Whoever it belongs to has organization problems in every part of their life. We got a crystal ball here. That's cool. I think Hiro would like one of those. Huh? Crystal ball? No, it can't be. There's no way he ever used this locker. It's just not possible. Ooh, that kind of points to Hiro. It's, is that a deck of playing cards? No, they're tarot cards. But wait, aren't those used for telling fortunes? It's just a coincidence, right? Let's look at the rest of the stuff. And here we have a personal journal that says this book belongs to Hiro. No, there's no way. It's got to be a coincidence. There's all kinds of textbooks and notebooks stacked up in no particular order, and dust everywhere. I have to assume whoever stuff this is didn't do a lot of studying. No, that I can really talk. Not that I can really talk. Trying to act as casual and natural as possible, I picked up one of the notebooks and saw. At the moment I looked inside the notebook, any sense of easiness I had evaporated. Oh my god, it does say his name on it. Yasuhiro Hagakure. What? There was no denying what I saw. Inside the notebook was written Yasuhiro Hagakure. Is that our Yasuhiro? I mean, yeah, it's him. That's his name. The notebook also contained a large number of notes on a variety of different classes. Which would mean he attended classes here? That can't be possible. I mean, Hiro came to this school at the same time as the rest of us. And we were all sucked into this evil world. We never had the chance to take any classes. Wow. Could Hiro have actually masterminded this whole dang thing? Wow, I wrote him off completely. So what is this notebook? Locker notebook has been added truth bullets. Can we look at the stuff on the bottom? Nope, okay. We haven't looked in this locker. Took the emergency handbook, ran across the card reader. Now let's see what's inside. I don't see anything that might be a clue. Okay, nothing. Beep. So locker opened, it's inside. This thing is practically empty, but hey, practically empty is better than empty. There's just one thing, some kind of pocketbook. I don't see a name written on it, so I can't say for sure who it is. But there's something written inside. It could be important. Oh, just open the dang thing. Stop studying everything, just open the dang book. I don't like violating the owner's privacy. Dude, we violated everything else here. Let's just take a look at the dang book. I think the owner's privacy is a small line to cross, but I'd dare take a look. Looks like a girl's handwriting, and all the letters are spaced out evenly, like whoever wrote them was measuring them. Whoever wrote this must have been really meticulous. Huh? Well, I was flipping through the pocketbook, but my hand froze when I got to a certain page. I saw something familiar written there, words I heard before. There's a plan to turn Hope's Peak into a shelter and isolate the students here in a communal life. I decided to talk to the one who came up with the plan directly. It just so happens to be the headmaster and my father. Oh, this is Kyoko's book. He was willing to give me some more details. Wait a minute. So wait, we got Hiro stuff in here, we got Kyoko stuff in here. But no one's ever been here. This is like the first time. Okay, this is weird. He was willing to give me some more details regarding the plan. Here's what he said. The point is to keep our student prodigies safe, to keep them as our hope for the future. Only their genius can overcome disaster, and only their hope can overcome despair. For the future of our country, our world, it's not an exaggeration to call this our final hope. We must isolate our superior youth from the corrupted world. What happened? Served as the foundation for a new era. This is the only hope we have. Hope that you'll be willing to go along with this plan. So that's what my father had to say to me. As usual, he made a selfish decision without consulting anyone else. Can't imagine a worse father. Yeah, that's definitely Kyoko. This can't be true, can it? But I knew it was, and I knew exactly who the pocketbook belonged to. Kyoko, couldn't be anyone else. But if this belongs to Kyoko, what was it doing in this locker? And what she wrote here completely contradicts what she already told me. She said she hadn't seen her father since he left her when she was little. But then again, she has amnesia, so supposedly. I decided to talk to the one who came up with the plan directly. Just so happens to be the headmaster and my father. What does all this mean? I quickly scanned the remaining pages of the notebook. I must have been looking for something that would prove me wrong about this whole thing. But when I reached the last page, the question mark spinning through my mind just started spinning that much faster. When I looked at it, unlike the rest of the pocketbook, the writing here was messy, disorganized, scrawled. Despair walks among us, so we survive. I didn't see that last. What is this? What does it mean? I have no idea. How could this possibly make any sense? There's a second despair. Oh, so there's two of that ultimate despair group in here. Supposedly, I don't know. Okay, well that's a creepy way to end the video. Yeah, so we got two despairs. Okay. Mukuro was probably one of them, and then I guess whoever the mastermind is the second one. Now that's starting to come together. Things are starting to come together, guys. So, that is going to wrap things up for tonight's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Tim Plays Game, and stay tuned for more Danganronpa videos. Until next time, this is Tim from Tim Plays Game signing off. And have a good night, guys.